what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a very big shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out to, if I can find the screen, Abraham Muhammad, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, excuse me, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Rain Foster, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik86, Jeronism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Nagara, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Rene, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, The Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock App, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Tina Baker and Tom Hawkins. Now we are joined by a whole bunch of people in both Discord and G+, so I'm going to raise the mic on them while I set up for the next live show.
Right?
I don't care what it is, it's their story, so I don't care how they got it.
Before it gets too late to sell them.
Well, that was a gentleman's question.
Somebody was saying something on Discord.
Bobers, share your pain.
Yeah. I asked, can I give a shout out to one music artist?
Yeah, go ahead,
I just
Waterball.
don't know if we're even heard on the.
Okay, I posted in a chat the new song coming up yesterday from Alex Michael, Conspiracy Music Guru. Check that out, it's amazing song. It's not directly related to the Flat Earth, but it's another conspiracy. Anyway, check that out.
Well, thanks for that segue, since I posted in a couple chats last night the greatest song ever composed. Right? Anyone catch that?
Yeah, was it Queen Bohemian Rhapsody?
Nope.
Can you back off your mic a bit, Anthony?
Turn out the lights. The
I
party's
wish,
over.
but nope. No one caught it. All right. The greatest song ever composed. You can thank me later, right? It's Santana, Song of the Wind. I triple dog dare you to try to get anything even in the vicinity of that. Sublime brilliance, baby. Song of the Wind, Santana. Thanks.
What makes it so good?
Just listen to it. You'll see. Or hear, sorry.
Right on. I just typed it in.
I'm
I'll
sure
listen to
that
it
comes
later.
a lot closer.
I did happen to. I was watching or listening to music on the TV, and it was Pandora, and they had an album cover on there, and it was Kansas. And Kansas has a lot of flat Earth imagery on their covers. If anybody didn't know that, on the topic of music.
I put the song in live stream.
Well, Kansas, the place is a very flat place, isn't it? So that might be a reason.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. For any old timers who dig that type of stuff, I like me some Kansas.
Are you saying Kansas played music in E flat?
I got that.
E flat.
Thanks, man. Brilliant.
Well, I appreciate two of my flat earthers being of one accord.
Yeah, but we're in Discord.
That's where the ballers are mainly. No tune to
Speaking of
sing.
ballers, do we have any State Street ballers want to say anything? Come on, ballers.
I think we need some time in our space here.
Don't we have Acom virus in here? Can he explain to us? He was trying to talk to us yesterday about how atmospheric pressure is not gas pressure.
Let's be real though, you really don't want to talk to people like that make absurd claims like that. That just pisses you off.
No, I want to give him a chance. He said atmospheric pressure and gas pressure are different. I just want to give him a chance to explain this.
I have one question.
Wait, if people are in the after show, can they hear you, John?
Say again?
No, they can't. They got to be moved up.
If they're in the after show, can they hear you? Because
he is in the after show. Probably not. Yes, sorry, he is in the after show. Probably not. So
That's
can
okay.
somebody tell him?
We got M1, who is a baller, at least his tag says so. Dougie, Chad, No Man, Blender Dick, Chicken Shit, and Trade.
Oh, where is he, Blender Dick? He's taking a slot. He never speaks, so he's getting moved.
He never speaks. Neither does Trade either.
Which
Trade
one?
would like to speak.
Trade? Okay.
Yep, Trade never speaks.
How could
taking
virus
slots.
be?
Nice.
Hang on. How can virus be in the show and change to the after show without leaving?
He can just move himself to the after show. He left the live stream and went to the after show.
No, remember he said
Also,
he can change his pants and not leave it.
Thing.
So how is he leaving the show?
You could ask him that. Hey, 10th, when we get to the after show, you can ask him that. How did he move to the after show and not change?
I don't get it. His argument falls apart.
He's Coriolising.
He can change his pants and not leave them, but he can go to the after show and leave us. I don't get it.
But see how today we didn't have anybody here come to try and prove to us that Earth is a globe. Nobody even tries now. They're so weak. We are winning.
Yep, it's pretty sorry. Pretty sorry indeed. Also, QE, we got a guy named No Man in here, deafened and muted. So I don't know if you want to kick him out too, make room.
Got it.
Sweet, dude. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, when Righteous isn't here and all I can do is bitch about it from the...
Yeah, we're going to fix that. Just hold off. You might want to check your PMs.
Affirmative.
Yeah, Travis, keep doing what you're doing, bro. I like it.
How do you get your opponents? I mean, in general, how do you get globe believers coming here?
What do you mean, waterball?
Yeah, because I have been trouble to get an opponent to the debate in Finland. I've been looking for ages to have a debate, it's almost impossible to get anyone to debate it as a global side. I'm not sure why.
Because there is
Oh,
no debate. Earth is obviously not observably flat. They're just arguing with pretender accounts. Muppet.
I mean, you see how it goes sometimes, right? I mean, how many of them are sitting in Discord with you right now, and nobody's saying anything, right?
Yeah, I see lots of globe earthers here, but they don't have any arguments or evidence for their ball.
Well, they never had any arguments to begin with. And the stories were
Well,
out.
step one is
So
getting
all the
them here.
bullshit
Step two
made
is
up
running through
stories.
them, right?
I mean, I've been thinking to put an offer there, the 50 euros or whatever, to came and debate me, just as a joke.
But look what happened when they see a person like Danny Faulkner make all these mistakes. They're intimidated by that because that guy's supposed to know it. And he comes here and gets torn apart by his own emails.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by the Adam Meakin, the One, Sleeping Warrior, Righteous Force, Chocolate Saiyan, Brian's Logic, Arwin, and 10th Man in G+. Very good to have you all.
Hello.
Good to
morning.
be here. Happy Thanksgiving.
Good afternoon. We are winning.
We are winning. Any sign? No, I'll introduce Discord first. Any hello to everyone in Discord. How you doing?
Hello from Discord.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Nathan.
Very good to have you. Very good to have you all. Any signs of Earth curvature? Any signs of?
Is there a quantum eraser in Discord too?
There is. There is.
Negative.
That's a paradox.
That shit.
One word paradox right there.
We have our own Terminator.
Are
now
you
on
here?
Discord.
Negative. Right. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Ontario.
No curves on a flat plane.
Not from Nottingham.
Not from Southern Ireland.
Well, I'm actually going back. I'm on episode 130, and it's pretty funny listening to you guys talk about curvature with these ballers. And you have to literally repeat your claim within the same show like 10 times, and they still can't get it. You got Alan B in there and a couple others. Alan B is making a fool out of himself. Goodness gracious.
Shocking.
Some things don't change.
Any viable hypothesis in the entire history of the fields of cosmology, astronomy, or astrophysics?
No. Danny
No.
Faulkner has never performed a scientific experiment.
So if you haven't kept up to date with the Flat Earth debate, the most recent update on Dr. Daniel Faulkner, PhD, who asserted he could challenge and refute any Flat Earth claim, is that you can have gas pressure without a container, and then he referenced Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard demonstration of gas pressure in a sealed container moving to gas pressure in an open container as a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. So that was his first foible. The next major problem is that he's recently come back and said that he accepts that by our definition, that would be gas law and the second law of thermodynamics, the gas would fill the available volume if the sky was a vacuum. But, because the sky is a vacuum and it's not dispersing into it, then the sky is a vacuum. And there's something wrong with your question. That's his most recent entry into the fray. So his circular reasoning is such: the sky is a vacuum and the gas isn't dispersing into it, therefore your question's wrong. That's his most current entry.
Unbelievable. What a
Can I make
clown.
one?
Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead.
make one addition onto that? It's also not a natural gas that he's using. It's actually man-made gas that's very dense.
That who's
to
using?
assist him.
Who's
Hillbilly
using?
Blue Balls,
Hillbilly
Blue
Blue
Balls
Balls. He's dead way before that. I
Oh,
see what you're saying, but
I'm just kicking the horse.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but the concept and the principle still applies, right? He's dead long before that anyway. As soon as he shows up with the gas container.
The entropy still occurs. It just slows the rate slightly because it is more dense, really, than the average.
Well, no, because of the quarter-inch pipe.
Yeah.
Because of the quarter-inch pipe.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But
Why
yeah,
is a PhD referring to a YouTuber rather than a genuine scientific demonstration of that?
Well, because he's a moron. Back to Adam's
two
point.
reasons. Two reasons.
Back to
One, two reasons. Number one, he's a moron. Number two, he has no scientific validity to any of his assertions. And the next closest thing, literally, the next closest thing a PhD astronomer can acquire in this regard is a redneck retard. Because their religion is retarded. And that's the best they've got. That's why.
Yeah,
So
it shows you
what do they
exactly
say
what
to
he
the
did.
students then that are going
he
through
put
these?
he put into Google
Hold on,
real
just
quick.
one second, Chocolate.
Put into
Hold on.
YouTube real
Hold
quick.
on, Chocolate. Hold on one second.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, my friend.
I was just wondering, what is it that they say to astronomy students that are in universities when they, no doubt, ask this question themselves?
They don't ask the question. They just put the stuff out to their students, have their students memorize and regurgitate what they said. Obviously, no one's challenging them, right? Obviously. So what the students do? Well, to get a good grade, what you're going to do, you're going to memorize and regurgitate, right? That's it. No critical thinking, no reasoning, nothing, zero. Memorize, regurgitate.
Yeah, the students aren't asking the teachers, how do you have a gas pressure without a container? They're not doing that. They've already been indoctrinated to understand that you can because the sky is a vacuum and we're breathing. So it's all good, right? They're not given the tools that they need to understand that, hey, you can't have the gas pressure in the first place without some sort of container.
That lady, Dr. Becky, that was shared on Master B.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Dr. Becky.
I think she's a good example that astrophysicists aren't really taught what a vacuum is, because she was one of her theories is that there's more hydrogen in one place than in another in space. Like, does she not understand a vacuum? You're not going to have a pool of hydrogen in one place more than the other. That wouldn't be how it would go. Yeah, and she also went to a big lecture in a big auditorium in London to watch this guy who, him and his friends, created an image of a black hole. An image, not
just go back to you. Sorry,
They
Brian. Before
created an
you,
image.
I don't want loads of random assertions in regards to whoever the hell this Becky person is. So you're saying it's unreasonable for her to assume that you could have a pool of hydrogen in the vacuum. Well, yeah, logically you're correct, but when you refer that to her, a heliocentrist, that would be incorrect, and I'll tell you why. To her, what's Jupiter?
Yeah, it's a big planet.
What kind of
Gas
planet?
giant.
Yeah. Go on, Brian. What kind of planet?
Yeah, a gas planet.
So it's a gas ball in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So by her logic, you can have a massive gas ball. So puddle of hydrogen, no issue for her. That's how cognitively screwed she is.
You're correct.
Yeah, Dr. Beck in Wonderland.
Oh,
Did
it's
I
all
hear
good, man. You could have giant balls of gas, concentrated in a vacuum. That's all good in the heliocentric. So why would she question that? She could work within that because that's where she lives.
Well, it is the case in the heliocentric model. It's not all good. It violates laws of nature. But that's what they have in their model, violations of natural laws. Definitely not all good.
Right.
That's what we're in for.
But they think it's all good.
It's all
That's
good
the
to you,
problem.
Chocolate. Then what are you doing here? That's all good.
In the whole world,
If I
Nathan,
can
in the whole
comment on
world,
that, and
it's not violating the natural law because she has her own natural law of gravity to back it up.
Not
That's
a
where the
law.
problem lies.
That's not a law.
But it's a natural law. And that's where she's going to fall back on. I know it's not.
But it isn't. The law of gravitation's been superseded. So even in her worldview, that's not correct.
Still falling back on it.
They won't.
Like
She
Danny
wouldn't.
Faulkner.
If she's a doctor in this subject, then no, she won't fall back on that. What am I talking about? We've just watched a PhD do it. What am I talking about? If she needs a force,
Exactly.
she's going to find one from
my
Reverend John
point.
Michel.
I like the way, Nathan, I'm just thinking about what you said about Danny Faulkner is the way he's justified it is he's now reconciled in his mind that because the sky clearly is a vacuum, that it's not any more natural laws, it's flat earthers' way of viewing things. He'll concede that point, but he's now not recognizing that it's actually natural laws that are opposing his model.
Yeah, it's
Someone's
your question.
typing.
Yeah, he's saying your question or phraseology is wrong or words to that
Yeah.
effect. Well, no. This isn't assertion we're making. This is natural law we're quoting to you.
But does he not say in the start now, accepting your viewpoint, that the gas would fill the volume? Your viewpoint being second law, thermodynamics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he agrees with that point because he says the fact that it doesn't, right? So he knows that it would if it was a vacuum. That's why he says the fact that it doesn't means that Anthony's claim is wrong.
Anthony's
See what
not
I'm
making.
saying?
But Adam's saying Anthony's not making a claim. Anthony's pointing out a natural law to him, as opposed to making a claim.
Exactly.
It's not his viewpoint. It's a natural law that his sky vacuum is in defiance of. But he's saying because my sky vacuum violates that natural law, your viewpoint's wrong. Well, no, it's not a viewpoint. It's a natural law that your sky vacuum is in violation of. But your justification is, yeah, but it's still a sky vacuum, so it's all juicy and good. No, that's circular reasoning. Just because you believe it's a sky vacuum that would, if it was, violate natural law, doesn't mean that it isn't violating natural law. It means the sky isn't a vacuum.
Yep.
So I think we've covered gas pressure without a container. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No.
Any self-perpetuating molten iron cores at the centre of presupposed spherical Earths?
No. Just a bit of seismology.
Distance to the sun? Anybody? Discord? You're all very quiet.
Nobody even knows what the sun is.
can anyone even attribute a distance to the sun? How do you know it's? Don't you need not you personally, but doesn't one need to establish that the sun is a physical object first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need
it'd
to
be-
know either its actual size or its distance to get the size, and you
Yeah.
need one to get the other, and we don't have either.
Would be a good place to start. But yeah, nobody's done that yet.
But just to bring it back to his question, so if you've got a reflection, so if I've got a torch with a bulb and I project a light out from it onto a mirror, which then reflects it onto a surface, well, the reflected light will have a size. But is that an actual size? Or is it just the actual size the light has projected from my bulb onto a mirror, onto the surface that you're measuring? In other words, you've got to make a few leaps in logic before you start measuring it.
Yeah, and according to Michio Kaku, that's okay. Leaps of logic, baby.
Well,
Guesswork.
their leap of logic would be to assume that you're standing on a spherical surface when you start making those measurements and adjusting the angles accordingly. Well, we don't need any sort of R-value presuppositions to get the distance to the sun if we don't know what it is, or how big it is, or how far it is. I think that concludes the housekeeping. I think we've done them all. Hooray! You're all very pleased about that. Who is it that said they've been listening to the older shows? Presumably when there was hordes and hordes of globe heads rumpusing the crap out of every claim being made.
Travis.
Oh, it was awful. Well, it was terrible, man. You got Lottie in there, about the most idiotic person I've ever heard. Actually tries to run your show. Alan B kicking people, sniping people, claiming to be Jeffrey. You got Sleeping Warrior in there holding it down, giving his claim.
I remember the Jeffrey nonsense. Sorry,
Yeah.
Travis.
Sleeping Warrior was a rock back in the day. He early on recognised that I was drowning badly and went, "You need help?" And I went, "I do! Rescue me!" And he did. So thank you, Anthony. Shout out to Sleeping Warrior.
What was the rest of your sentence? You said Sleeping Warrior was what, did you say?
Said I needed rescuing. I was drowning in a
No.
sea of globe heads.
Not you, Travis, because Chocolate spoke over him and I didn't hear the last of what he said.
Oh, I just said you came in there and you laid it down, man. You and Ranty, Nathan sent you that 66-foot tape measure, something I've never even heard of before. We have 100-foot tapes here in America, but you guys measured the cliff. You made your claim at 35 feet. Everybody just could not let it go that you had a higher observation height and kept trying to just muddy the waters and confuse everything. And you guys just came in and laid it down and, held your own, and you held the line, really, at that point. If we're talking about being in the trenches.
So let's just summarize that whole height thing. The claim that I made at the time was that it was 35 feet above the sea, right? That was because that's what it said on Google. When we measured it, it turned out to be, it went from 35 to, was it 49 or 47?
On screen now by coincidence.
It was 12 feet difference. That's all it was. So these claims that it was like 120 plus is nonsense. It was about 12 feet out. That's it. It made jack all difference between whether you should see that on a plane or not. You couldn't see it on a ball, but we can clearly see the stuff that I could see. I didn't know what I was looking at. It was Ranty's fault. I didn't even plan on releasing it. It was only when Ranty said you should release it because I think there's some ball earth, flat earth discussion there. And I released it, poked the bear a little bit, and then it just opened up the doors to hell.
Whereas now, that whole argument becomes completely moot. And the reason is simple. It's on screen now. So what we're looking at is Mackord Lighthouse at a distance of 31.4 miles from the observer, which is Anthony. And the discussion that's been summarised a moment ago by Sleeping Warrior is in regards to the observation position. Now, when you run the calculator through the motions in regards to this observation, you'll be calculating how much of a to keep it simple, 200-foot lighthouse is being obscured by a not actual location, otherwise known as the horizon, by their standards, a reified sphere edge. Now, in reality, this that I'm circling on screen for the people watching at home isn't a feet and inches value in this image. It's an angular size, a not actual size that will reduce with distance. So obviously, if you're standing right next to a 200-foot lighthouse, well, that's a pretty big lighthouse if you're at the base of it. You'd have to lift your head right up to see the top of it. Now, as you go further and further away from that lighthouse, you're going to lower your head down more and more towards the horizon as it gets further and further and further away. So the assertion that it's a 200-foot lighthouse is meaningless when you're talking about something that's in the distance, because it has a reduced angular size. Now, this feet and inches value will be demonstrated by the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator by way of a side elevation, otherwise known as an orthographic view, fondly referred to by us as Muppet vision, because you see the side of your own head. Now, in this image on screen now, we can't see Sleeping Warrior's head, but that's what you'll see in the curve calculator. You'll see the side of the observer and the target. Now, what that does is keeps the values for the object in the distance at a fixed value, 200 feet. And you can draw or write on the line between observer and target any value you like. So in this instance, you'd write on that side elevation curve calculator view 31 miles. But I can write 31,000 miles on a side profile and just change the scale as much as I like. But you've still got a straight line drawn between target and observer. In reality, at 31,000 miles, this lighthouse, 200 feet of it, would be too small to see. And at the point that it reaches that very narrow angle, the most limited angle at the bottom of the lighthouse will be the first thing to disappear into that limited angle. It will reach and breach something called the diffraction limit, an angle where what you see in the distance will be too small to resolve by your camera or eye or camcorder, in this instance, a camera filming something, a lighthouse at 31 miles. So by using 200 feet, you remove all aspects of perspective, admirably demonstrated by the fact you can see the side of your own head in a side profile and attribute any value to the distant target you like, and keep the whole numbers of feet and inches or meters when you do so. So this is the actual description that has come from us in show 66 to 200, begging the question because we didn't know any better, and allowing them to assume the Earth has a radius value automatically in the calculation, and ignore all effects of perspective by utilising whole numbers, feet and inches or meters, rather than the angular size, which is what we actually observe. Hence the perspective hijacking portion of the name we attribute to that calculator. Begging the question, because it has an R value assumed already, aren't you trying to prove the Earth's a sphere? You've already got the sphere value. It's the R value in your curve calculator, which begs the question. Perspective hijacking, I've just explained. It removes all aspects of perspective and angular limitation by using feet and inches for a distant target. Proof of nothing, because it doesn't prove anything, it begs the question and removes perspective. Curve calculator, a double whammy begging the question fallacy. If it's a curve calculator, it's not going to be proving your point, it's going to be assuming Earth has curve. And that's precisely what it does by utilising the effects of perspective and simply calling them Earth curvature. So that's what we would address now, rather than the merry dance of how high is the observation point for about 3 weeks, say 3, probably 10 weeks straight, with all sorts of smear videos made about us lying, when in reality they're hijacking perspective to reify their religious belief in an Earth that's spherical. So there we go, that's the crap we had to endure back in show 100 to whatever.
Absolutely, and they would also bounce back and forth. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I stepping on someone?
Hey, go ahead. Chocolate's good.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just going to say, they were also bouncing back and forth between Google Google Map, Google Earth, and the survey ordnance maps, and they were trying to use one on each side, and you were holding them to task, basically saying, no, you have to use one or the other because your claim was about Google. It wasn't about the actual height. The actual height was just your guys' way of checking it. But yeah, oh my gosh, I don't know. They just
Have they gotten to arguing yet about how Google is not their model? We've gotten to that part
yep, that's when that happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
They turned on. They threw Google Earth under the bus, right? And also Arwen too was there holding it down too. Doing his thing.
It's funny how quick they all backed away from that Google is our model
he's-
thing when they realized that the Google model didn't actually do what they thought it did. No, that's not our model. Really? Okay, well, let's never.
Right.
Arwen's the only saving grace in those days because me and Anthony were both guilty of begging the question and allowing them to ignore perspective. And Arwen at the time is saying it till he's blue in the face, and we're just not listening to him. So he's talking about the optical slant and the vanishing point and how that should be used. He's trying to show us inside profile about the optical slant and detailing it really well and concisely over and over again. And we're just not listening to him. We're just shouting at Rumpus. So if you listen to it, pay attention to Arwen as opposed to the total nonsense myself and Anthony are going through. We're going through the motions of begging the question because we're being led by them, not realising that every minute we're arguing, they're winning because we're begging the question the entire time and working with the calculator. Arwen got it from the off. Smart man that he is.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, I just went with what I was seeing and went from there on. And it turned out that I hit a new spot. I hit new ground, and it took some time for everyone to catch on, but they did, and it's good.
Yeah, there's other early rumblings from people like Zach, who was on yesterday, getting an earful from QE. Sorry, Zach.
Sorry
But I
about that,
think
Zach.
All of that. Sorry, John.
He's just saying sorry to
No,
Zach.
I said sorry about that. I said sorry about that, Zach. But he was. I was listening to somebody else. See, it's so hard. I don't think people understand when you're inside the hangout versus listening to the show. You hear a lot. There's a lot of things that we hear in here you never hear on the show. Just want to let you guys know that out there. And it was a cluster yesterday. So I wasn't really pounding on Zach all that much because that definition is correct. I was more or less agreeing with them that interference and diffraction are the same, just like it said in the citation, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry about that, Zach. Anyway.
There's also things that slip us by that the audience do get. So when I watch the show back on the Uncut and After show, which is the same channel this is going out on live now, I'll hear things and go, God, why couldn't I hear that through the, cutting through the rest of the audio garble that you get when you sat this side of the show. So, various concessions like Rumpus said something to the effect of, you just don't understand this concept. Well, we're shouting till we're blue in the face that it's just a concept. And he said, oh, you don't understand this concept. It's like, but I missed it. And it's only when you listen to it back that you can hear things like that come through. So the audience will be privy to things we don't get either. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a ruckus, but also I think QE, sometimes you're just too concise for your own good.
Sorry.
Don't apologise for that. No, I'm sorry. That's the kind of consistency.
No, that's where
gets,
the frustration is.
Well, it gets the kind of admiration that I've just given, or the kind of kudos that Arwen's just got. The kind of concise, consistent, what's the word? Yeah, concise, short. That to the point. That's good. Because then when you go back to something a year, 2 years from now, and you hear those things repeated exactly the same. I know we keep mentioning this, but there's going to be a debate that comes out on Quantum Eraser channel soon that's between him and the Rumpus from way, 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 way back when. And when we were doing the evolution debunking show a couple of days back, we were saying, look, pay attention to these arguments because they're the same arguments. They're not any different. The way they formulate the fallacies are the same. The assumptions are the same, the debunkings are the same, the rebuttals from them are the same. It's amazing. The parallels are uncanny. But when Quantum Eraser stepped into the fray, a couple of weeks, he's straight in, the debate forum with Rumpus, who's very well versed in the heliocentric arguments with flat earthers. But he got a total pummeling because Quantum Eraser's consistency to understand a logical fallacy and understand the base assertion that's being made and be able to debunk it hasn't changed. And that's something that can only be applauded. I'm self-deprecating when I talk about me and Anthony being idiots because we're just being allowing ourselves to beg the question. Well, that's not my most it's not my favourite shows. There's a lot of shite that we talk in those shows because we don't know any better. We'd be the kind of people that would, pour scorn on these days and go, oh God, the guy doesn't understand the argument. Why is he talking about rockets not working in a vacuum? Doesn't he get the space isn't fake? Well, we did all of that. It's embarrassing almost. But you can't get to this. You can't get to the other side unless you've gone through that, right?
Well, we were just puzzling, and you can only figure out that the puzzle is missing a few pieces by putting the puzzle together.
Yeah.
Or counting the pieces.
Yeah, we had to beg the question to realise where the magic trick worked and how the begging the question fallacy works. Because if someone just tells you, I know they're just assuming the R value, and you just assert to them, well, you've got an R value in it, and they go, well, it's justified because the Earth is a sphere, and you don't appreciate that that's just circular reasoning being asserted as a defence. In other words, you don't understand the logical fallacies that go along with all of their assertions, because they're not just going to concede. They don't just say, oh yeah, I never realised that I'm affirming the consequent, thanks for that. That's never going to happen. So yeah, you've got to understand their crap rebuttal, even when you've got a winning point. And back in the day, the winning point, and maybe Anthony will speak to this in a moment regards Hank Hill, the winning point can easily get obfuscated out of the audience's perception, just with lots and lots of background noise, people running diversions. And yeah, somebody might actually get to voice the winning point, like Hank Hill did. But if it's just totally obfuscated away from, and then in that instance answered later, nobody draws the connection or sees the damaging answer to the question because they're not connected. There's so much distraction that's being run in between.
A good example of that can be seen very recently when I suggested that there was an issue in the atmosphere about where and how the volume of nitrogen in the atmosphere came from. And then subsequent from that, where did the waters of the oceans and the seas of the world come from? And then Brenda and Rumpus both joined and Rumpus the hell out of that point. And then we completely didn't address any of that for the rest of the show and got into a shitfest with them both about whatever nonsense. And for me, I was looking back thinking that was just done on purpose to derail that point so that we don't get to ask the question, where did the waters come from that fills the oceans? Because there's an awful lot of it there, right? And there's an awful lot of nitrogen in the atmosphere that science can't account for. And if we're able to demonstrate that the vacuum of space, the way we're told, isn't the way we're being told it, and that means that comets, meteorites, all the things that are up in space, that means that couldn't have caused the oceans of the world to exist because it didn't come from meteorites or asteroids. So where did the oceans come from? Oh, hi, Brenda. Hi, Rumpus. Rah!
Well, technically, it would be coming from comets. Comets.
Where would they be? Would they be in space, Arwin?
Right. If you look very carefully, there's someone. I think sometimes they light up by the sun, passing through the heat field.
Okay, right. I just want to summarize the point because the point is that the assertion or origin story for the water on Earth is bunk automatically because it revolves around space. So this isn't like just because the pennies only just dropped for him, far from it, but the appreciation that all claims in space are bunk will mean that they don't have any origin story for where the water came from. And Anthony's saying, upon that rather devastating point being highlighted, there was suddenly a lot of obfuscation and distractions being run.
Yeah, and if they come in and obfuscate a point quick enough and strong enough, you completely forget what... I mean, look at Brandon Toy. Brandon Toy was in a GeoStreber hangout, and he'd realised that when GeoStreber was arguing for the EATVOS effect, when GeoStreamer, when he asked where did the data come from for the graph that was being presented on screen, GeoStreamer said that it was created by the model. It wasn't based on raw data. Brandon realized that this was he realized that it was reification, in the sense that he was treating this model prediction as though it was a real event in real world. And he was just about to present that point, and the Rumpus realized that Brandon was going to do that, and immediately stamped all over it, got kicked out of the hangout by GeoStreamer for basically rumpusing. But the point got lost. So Brandon's devastating point that he was about to pummel into GeoStreamer and actually win the point because of it, Rumpus identified that it was it, tactically fouled, and got sent off for it. And I'm sat there watching it, realizing that this is an orchestrated move of intelligence on Rumpus's part to obfuscate the points that Brandon didn't get to claim the victory, because that's what would have happened had GeoStreamer, had Rumpus not have Rumpus that particular part of the hangout, and we had it all the time.
I got an objection, Your Honor. You're ascribing some type of intelligence to Rumpus?
No, Rumpus absolutely knows how to debate. He knows this topic.
He knows how to debate. Why?
Yeah.
How does he do it? Just keep talking. That's amazing.
Yeah,
no, Rumpus knows how to derail arguments.
Yeah, it's how to derail an argument as opposed to how to win the debate with coherent arguments. He knows when a coherent argument's coming from the opponent, and that being heard and recognised by the audience is devastating. Therefore, the best tactic is to stop that delivery.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, a 2-month-old does the same thing when they're crying and screaming.
Yeah, my
same
kid does
thing.
it. Yeah, my 3-year-old does that.
Yeah. I didn't mean that Rumpus knew how to debate. I just meant that Rumpus knew how to derail points to support Nathan's assertion that if they obfuscate at the right time, points get lost. They do it all the time.
Right. I agree with you there. And your point, you should run that debate, what you were talking about with GeoStreamer. Just that little part, because it is devastating. I was laughing hard because I knew it before they even started talking about it, that GeoStreamer just copied it from some numbskull that made it up to conform with his model. All the data was made up. It was conjured.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
When I caught up with Brandon afterwards and I explained it to him and I took him through it step by step, and we actually rewound that hangout, and I showed him the points where Rumpus in his head has got little flags, and he could see that Brandon was narrowing the argument down. And I said to Brandon, I said, this is when you say this next sentence, that's where Rumpus realizes that GeoStreamer's about to lose. And Brandon realized that he was tactically outplayed there, but didn't realize it live. But when I explained it to him back, Brandon totally got it. And he was like, you little weasels. But me and Nathan see that all the time now because they've done it to us forever.
I was about to bring this round to their cries of foul play, which we get occasionally now. Normally it's, they won't let me speak, I'm getting cut off. What, with a devastating rebuttal? Yeah, that happens, yeah. Whereas back in the day, it wasn't that we were getting cut off whilst making a devastating rebuttal that was true. It was that we'd get sniped, porn bombed, kicked out of our own hangouts. The kind of language we'd have to endure would be horrendous. You know, the tables have completely turned to the point where I've become a bit more swashbuckling in my language. Partially because I don't want to be classified as children's content, put that aside. You know, it's one of those that the tables have completely turned around because they felt they were right and knew the Earth was a sphere and asserted that all of science proved it. Now, what have we got as the situation coming up to 2020? All of science proves we're on a flat plane. There is no scientific evidence for the Earth being a sphere. Pseudoscience is what's indoctrinated people. NASA lies. Space is fake. Earth is flat. That's where we're at. Have we got anything to challenge it? No, but we've got a list of questions that absolutely demolish all claims from their assertions of a spherical Earth in a vacuum. That's where we're at. So yeah, check it out. Go back to some of those old shows and listen to how badly we get pummeled frequently.
Yeah. So science doesn't prove anything. Yeah. Ballers 2019.
And the funny thing was, even back then, we were so not understanding optics back then. Remember that before what is it? Life is Too Short. Well, that was pretty much at the end of that learning process. Before that, we had no idea when I came with the optical slant. So we were going with the ballers in their R-based refraction assumptions. It was very surreal to us back then because it was all we were given to go with at the time. It was a very painstaking, slow process to figure out what the hell was actually going on with that.
Right.
And how they were forcing R on us.
I think that ended at a nice culmination with Mick West coming on here
Yep.
and admitting that R is an assumption based on the standard model.
Yeah, that tailed it off
And
nicely.
Mick West, ironically, is going to be on the all-new Ballbusters world premiere Saturday, 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 7 p.m. UK. Be here or be sphere. It's going to be epic.
You couldn't get him live?
What we need is we need somebody to do like a 3-frame cartoon, and frame 1 would be like a baller dressed like Darth Vader standing at the top of a mountain, and in big letters, capital typeface, "The whole body of science proves the Earth is a sphere." And then frame 2 would be a flat earther and a little speech bubble going, "Cough. Actually, there's no scientific evidence for Earth being a sphere." And then frame 3 would be the Darth Vader character walking down past the flat earther going, "Science doesn't prove anything."
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. That's a
Because
great.
that's literally what it is. Yep.
Oh, you're going to see it since you requested it. Somebody's going to do it.
I should have done that.
Do you remember the time when Rumpus was going through a phase where he would cite all the time? He would cite the whole body of science, Nathan. And we got that wore thin eventually, and we got him to the point where he couldn't say it anymore because the whole science doesn't have a body. And I remember one particular time, and he was about to say it, and I took the words right off the tip of his tongue, and I says to him, "You were going to say the whole body of science, then, weren't you?" And he was.
Yeah, that was classic.
The whole body of science doesn't prove anything. Sorry, Rumpus.
So Nathan, is that Darth Vader character going to say, "May the non-force force be with you"?
Yep. That'll be a different
The
cartoon strip.
non-force that you can think of as a force be with you.
May the non-force force that you can think of as a force that's not an actual force be with you.
Yes.
Should we directly say that may the gravity be with you?
No.
No, the problem with saying "may the gravity be with you" is that could ultimately lead to the following question: either what's gravity or which one, depending on where you sit. So,
it's not a force.
Exactly.
The only thing you say.
So we should say that may the bending of space-time be with you?
Yes.
No, because that's a conceptual medium. May the not actual force be with you, I quite like. May the not actual force be with you.
So when
that's
the
fine.
little guy with the bubble speech says, "I tried it, it doesn't work," he says, "Well, it doesn't work on the really is level."
It could change the prayer, couldn't it? Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus. And then instead of "go in peace in our you trust," may the not actual force be with you.
Now you gotta say it in the whole thing.
Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus. May the not actual force be with you. Go in peace in our you trust.
You gotta put that in.
Thank you for rumpusing it, so I can't cut it out.
Yeah, that's great. Perfect rumpusing when he was calling you out. Outstanding.
Sorry, I had to do it at least once.
Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus. May the not actual force be with you. Go in peace in our you trust. Our win.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, we're expanding the scriptures of our own.
Yeah, I like the fact that we give them religious, I don't know why I'm even going to say religious connotations, because this stuff's come from priests, right? Reverend John Michelle, right?
Yep. Abby Georges Lemaitre. Yep.
These
Father
are
of
priests.
cosmology.
Yeah, they got the lot.
Well, Lemaitre came on the scene with a big bang, right?
Boom, boom.
Wow.
May the force that is not actually a force, but you can think of it as a force, be with you.
That's the one.
Hey, I already
But
said
you
that.
gotta say it in its whole, otherwise it's not as awesome. It can't drop the, but you can think of it as a force out of it, even though it makes it much shorter. It's too good.
So when's Danny coming on the show?
Hey,
can you guys?
Oh, we got somebody trying to talk from Discord. Oh no. Xgate, is it?
No, you're good. I'm just making sure I was having audio issues. Go ahead and continue.
No, you're coming in loud and clear. We want to know when Danny's coming on the show.
He makes sporadic appearances by way of social media posts that Anthony's keeping a very close eye on.
Too buddy.
Yeah, I'm new here, but happy.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. Yep.
Yeah, and I was just I thought of something funny a few minutes ago. It's kind of off topic what you guys are at right now, but it was just funny, and I looked it up just now too. When you're talking about the R radius, all that stuff, and how they supposedly did it then, well, the Eratosthenes, all that stuff. They don't even call him a scientist. They just call him a mathematician and astronomer. But then they say that he proved the curvature of the Earth. Well, how is he going to prove the curvature of the Earth when he didn't do any scientific experiments? It doesn't make any sense. But also, the other side of that is he did his experiment outside, maybe, sure, right? But did he ever take his experiment inside and use a light source from inside, so he could actually use that experiment as scientific? Because he changed the location of where he was doing, because now we know that you get that same shadow effect inside as well as outside. So I just thought those two things are pretty funny.
Last person I saw that do that inside was Math Powerland. Just did it with a couple of stage lights, and yeah, absolutely spot on. But he didn't prove radius, so he makes his measurements depending on which story you go to, sticks and shadows or wells, depending on which version is being recited. That aside, he's presupposing he's measuring a sphere to get that measurement, to get that value. The presupposition, they'll make that overt as well. If you look up the actual description, he starts with the assumption that he's on a sphere and then goes forth to make the measurements. So it's still begging the question. It's still assuming Earth's a sphere at the outset. In other words, it's assuming Earth has a spherical radius value. So if you're going to look at these lights and their movements, well, unless you assume Earth is a sphere to begin with, you're just going to get a circle on a flat disk, aren't you? Well, they have to assume that they're measuring a spherical R value when they do it. Okay? Makes sense?
I think you got the entire core of the religion now. Sorry. Did I interrupt anyone?
Yeah, no, you didn't know. It's Aristarchus, right? He's the first one to make the assumption that Earth's a sphere.
Right. And it all started there. It is basically that. It is against better knowing, using machinations to cover everything up, assuming the Earth is a sphere. That is the religion, and everything is all filler.
Yep. In R, you trust, fundies?
Arwin.
What?
In R you trust. Go in peace, Arwin.
I still have a dubious feeling being part of an actual global religious campus.
Yeah, but it's separated.
Doesn't sound separated to me, but that's fine.
Yeah. Hey, when is this show going out? Hey, when is this show going out? Over.
It's going out now. It's live.
Oh, is it live? Going on now?
Yeah, so for those of you watching live, the Ballbusters mentioned earlier, Be Here or Be Sphere on the Quantum Eraser channel, 7 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Central Standard, Saturday. That will be 2 days from now. Whereas if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, it's tomorrow, because this goes out on Friday. But this is live right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's the world premiere of the new Ballbusters. Show some enthusiasm. It's going to be epic.
Yay.
Even
Yay.
fake enthusiasm is okay.
Okay.
I can't wait.
No, been hustling the whole team, the whole lot. All Ballbusters should be there, hopefully, God willing. Ranty will be there, Arwin, Bible Literalist, 10th Man, Sleeping Warrior, Quantum Eraser, myself, and Dr. John D. So the whole kit and caboodle, hopefully, will be there on Saturday.
Hello. Hello.
And the first question on the table will be Mick Westian, or pseudo Mick Westian 2 space. So that'll be the first thing we open with. So Be Here or Be Sphere, Quantum Eraser channel, 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central Standard on the Quantum Eraser channel Saturday, tomorrow, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980.
It's going to be epic. I'm not playing any games. I'm not just telling tales out of school. You got to be there for this one, folks. Thanks.
I really wonder, by the way, has anybody talked to Mick West in recent times? Because I really wonder what he would say when we told him about Mick Westian 2 space.
Yes, I did. I said it. Yeah, it's a debate on 24/7. That's what we're going to be going over. Yes, it was just a couple weeks ago. Yes to all your questions.
What the hell?
Yeah,
I missed that?
a few weeks ago, Arwen. You don't go on Discord, Arwen. That's what it is.
Oh, it wasn't there. Ugh.
Yeah, it was on.
Oh,
It
then
was
it
on the
doesn't count.
24/7 Discord 2.0. He
Listen, I'm
came on
editing. I'm editing it right now, but I'm going to try to put it out later this evening or at the latest tomorrow in Ballbusters Skype. So you can review it. All right.
The edited Mick West bit.
Yeah, the whole bit.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Chocolate was there.
Science communicator.
Oh my God! Wait till I'll tell you what. I don't know how Mick West is going to be able to show his face after this one, folks. It's bad.
Is that bad?
Real bad.
Yeah, it's a real embarrassment because he's claiming to be a science communicator and then he's held to task on what science actually is, and he hasn't got the vaguest notion. So it's an outrage that he can claim to be a science communicator. The guy hasn't got the first clue.
Okay.
No, he says he's
then
a
he must
science
be able to
communicator.
communicate the
Then
scientific
hold on,
right?
Hold on. He says he's a science communicator. Then he says he's not a science communicator. And then he says he is a science communicator. That's just one.
Okay.
That's just one of the fiascos.
So if he's a science communicator, does that mean that he communicates not proving anything?
Yeah, but John, remember he kind of hinted that he had to kind of dumb it down for the masses that he would have to communicate it with, right?
Oh yeah, that being played back, right? I really want to rub that in the ballers' their noses in that. That's brilliant. That is.
Yep.
He thinks you're dumb, ballers. Mick West thinks you're all retards, and he needs to dumb things right down for your dumbasses. That's what he thinks. And I'm gonna pause over that bit. We're gonna just dissect it. We're gonna talk about that at length. Just how dumb he thinks you are. By the way, he hasn't got a vaguest clue what science is, but nevertheless, he thinks you're dumb.
Well, at least he got that right, right?
Yeah, but this is just after being asked, what are the 3 parts of an experiment?
Hey, chocolate, come on now.
Let's not give too much away.
All right, my bad. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Come
on now.
My bad, yeah.
though, with that, I'm going to say, if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley live stream, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to both today's Discord and G Plus panels for making this live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Eisen was the phenomena or something. Come on.
I ain't saying shit.
But I mean,
I just can't wait because the dude is corny as fuck. That's all. That's my problem. Other than that, whatever.
You'll have to wait till
Okay,
Saturday.
he already admitted his R-based crap assumption nonsense standard model back in 267 or something. We're in show 1000 and change, so McWest is old news. As far as I'm concerned.
The curvature calculator, right, to account for the tidal bulge of oceans specifically.
It doesn't work over large bodies of water.
Yeah. Where everybody's using the measurements, right? Yeah, okay.
I do like shows like that when we reminisce about some of the old shows. I mean, at the time it was quite distressing. I mean, life's pretty sweet now. As much as it might come across that I get agitated with people, it's only in the moment. It's not like this is weighing heavy on my mind or anything. Whereas back in the day, it's like when you were modelling this stuff out and making the comparisons to their calculations, it was actually quite stressful. And, you know, at the time, it just seemed like making sure we got the correct measurements for those cliffs and all that kind of stuff that's now so benign. It seems so important at the time. But when you're on the other side of it, you're like, yeah, I'm glad I went through it, but, you know, would I want to do that again? Probably not. It wasn't much fun, I've got to be honest.
I still remember from the curvature calculator and like Soundly's modeling of how he thought a flat Earth was supposed to be and all that. I still remember that when I first really started to figure out that they were machinations, that they were intentionally misrepresenting, that was a big one for me back then. Because it's so hard to tell if they are like doing it on purpose or not when you don't get the trick they're doing it by yet.
Exactly.
And then
You've got to
it
go
started
through
to
it.
stand through. Wait, the exclusion of perspective. Wait, he is taking away all kinds of refraction when assuming looking over a flat Earth, like normal refraction and shit. And yeah, of course it doesn't look real then. Doesn't match up. But it was all made to manipulate whatever was supposedly seen into that ball.
You know, I
Never
couldn't
made
believe. You know, I couldn't believe that people took Soundly's pictures seriously as glow proof.
Yeah.
Back then, you know, I was just like, wait a minute, no, people really think this proves curvature. People think the Earth looks like this. Really?
I wasn't sure even at the beginning what I was looking at.
That's not something happening in the camera. That's the Earth actually doing that. I was like, nah, people don't think that. That's not.
But Chocolate, these are the GoPro golden times, right? This is in a time where we didn't have all this grip on the situation, and any kind of fisheye lens would immediately prove curvature to the hordes of
But
water.
the crazy shit was we would ask, all right, so if it looks like that, where the fuck is the curve on the other axis? And they're like, no, you can't see that curve. What?
Yeah.
How do you have? Don't we live in a ball? if it's curving one way, should it be curving the same way in all directions? So we live on a paper towel roll. What the fuck? Makes no sense, man.
You know that the latest is that they're saying that the 8 inches per mile squared is something that we came up with. That's the latest, yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
George had a full
that we came up
presentation
with the
on that
scientific
retard. George had a full presentation on the retard Jose's channel showing the 8 inches per mile squared.
That
While some other ballers think it's wrong.
Yeah. We can show it. We can get real impressive if we want to show it on the after show, but I'd have to hit screen share link. All right. All right, Nathan, how about that? Doesn't look like it's going to work. Uh-oh. Forget that one. Hey, I'll put it in. I'll put it in Master B's for you, Chocolate. If you can get to that, hold on. Wait one.
The problem with globetards is they always say that our arguments fall flat.
Yeah.
Yep, just like Danny Faulkner's book.
There's a whole bunch of them in the Discord here, and they're all willing to chat in the text chat, but none of them have the guts to speak up.
Well, of course, all our arguments fall flat because they're this flat. What do you expect?
Well, how about all attempts to prove orbits fell flat? That would be literal.
Radio check.
And
Yeah, we hear you.
I asked my neighbor's dog about orbits. He said there isn't any.
You say your neighbor's dog.
Yeah, my neighbor is Mr. Jetson. His dog is Astro.
Oh, man.
A baller at one time on, I think it was on Ranty's live, I think it was on Ranty's, told me that he likes to measure his curvature in degrees. And I asked him, I says, that's what he said, yeah. He couldn't really, I said, but how does that connect to the official measurement? He likes to measure in degrees.
Oh, he just likes to.
What?
Yeah.
It just pleases him to measure it in degrees.
Oh,
Yeah.
he R-base deduces his curvature degree, right?
It's the same way some of these guys they choose to measure the speed of the Earth.
Chocolate, your mic's really shagged. I don't know if you can.
Oh, is it?
Or is it some
Okay.
FE meme planet? Is that you making all that noise? FE meme parrot?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're making an absolute shitload of noise.
Not anymore.
Sorry, Chocolate, it wasn't you.
No, it's all good.
Choco, Master B's.
Close up your mic, by the way, Choco. Just saying. So,
Say again.
Choco, Master B's.
Close up to your mic.
It's not his mic. Choco,
No.
Master B's, please.
I wasn't talking about the noise. I was talking about Choco just being very close up to his mic.
Yeah, because there's less noise because I'm not at work today.
Okay,
Hear me.
Choco, Master B's. Did you get that
Yes,
one after the
Master B.
fourth frigging time?
Oh, I did. Do you want me to put it on screen?
Please.
Yeah,
Right,
I
so-
couldn't put it on screen anyway, so
On screen.
I'm sorry.
Well, there you go. To Brian's point that we made it up. Georgie Tatonka had a 40-minute presentation on the Retard Jose's channel and showed this. So what the hell? I don't know. I don't know. You contradict yourself with every other breath. You can't tie your shoes without fleets of slobber nurses. This is a joke. If incoherent third graders would listen to you ballers, they would roll their eyes at you. And they're doing that. Just to let you know. Okay? Keep doing it. Clowns.
Oh, I've got the thumbnail for Pseudo Mick Westy and Two Space Ballbusters. Should I put that up? I have.
Well, it's quite an interesting picture you got here, QE.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission? Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah. It was only up for a second.
This one?
You didn't see it.
Yeah, that one.
The audience will see it tomorrow. Hello,
Yeah, that
Nathan
picture
Oakley,
right there,
1980 audience.
I'm presenting it.
Yeah. So they got the sphere and then they got some straight lines. What's going on here?
But it seems like more maths and our assumptions to me.
Well, I assume that that top middle part is where someone is standing tangent, correct? That'll be the tangent line, but it curves away in one and it goes straight in the other. What you trying to say here? See it drop.
I think QE's point was, well, some of them are saying that 8 inches per mile squared isn't the formula. Well, George apparently thinks it is. So
Yeah, and it shows a
you
drop.
guys can't even get it straight in your own minds, in your own model. So you might want to work that out, guys.
That's the third version of that. The first version back in 2016, because we pummeled it in 2015, was that it came from, it's just something the engineers came up with and used. And they were told, no, that's from Pythagoras. And so they shut up about it. And then they came back some while back and started saying it's a parabola, so it's not the real thing. And they were told Pythagoras, and they shut up. And then they shut up again. And now it's coming from us. I mean, how many times did they have to be told it's Pythagoras?
Right.
So George is using
either by
Pythagoras.
either by Pythagoras or trig construction or the Sagitta. Over 1,000 miles, they're roughly all the same. Duh. You got
you know what
can't
else?
mass.
Hold on.
That's the problem.
Yes, all of the different Earth curve measurements would be roughly the same up to about 1,000 miles. But you know what else would also match that? Angular size reduction.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
The angular size reduction would match up to about 1,000 miles the curve calculations. It's just perspective. That's all Earth curve is.
And you also have that assumed R in there. So
I didn't get that, Nathan. You chopped up for me.
So you're saying all of these different curves, 8 inches per mile being slightly less severe than the actual calculations if you base it on the radius value of the presupposed Earth. Well, those are all curve mathematics, how much curve you will see. Well,
yes.
What also lines up with that is angular size reduction at distance. It's almost identical.
Exactly.
So all three things are the same, the parabola basis and the actual spherical R value calculations of the drop value and perspective are all pretty much the same. Well, we do definitely have perspective. That much is an absolute certitude. So beyond that, we've also got Earth curve on top of that. Well, no, we covered that when we were figuring this out. So we had Anthony, who was saying you need to account for both drop and perspective. Well, no, because one is the other. Perspective is just called Earth curve. It's not that they're going to engineer in the extra perspective because they all fall in line at about the same rate, up to about 1,000 miles. Angular size limitation, the one based on the Sagitta, and 8 inches per mile squared, are all basically the same because Earth curve is perspective.
And the trig construction, if you go by trig, it's the same thing. Yep. That's how they hijacked it. That's exactly what it is. Okay, we have Acom virus. Acom virus. Can you please explain to us the difference between atmosphere pressure and gas pressure, please? We need to know that. Thanks.
I can do that for him if you
causes of pressure.
So the difference is the causes of pressure.
Causes of pressure.
That's your answer? That's it?
Just so that's defined, the cause of gas pressure is the force exerted on the walls of the container. That's the cause of gas pressure.
That actually, his answer's a fair point from his perspective. It's a reasonable answer.
Is he saying that atmospheric pressure is assumed to be caused by gravity or something?
Yeah.
No, not
Pretty
necessarily.
Much.
I wasn't going to use the word gravity.
Yeah, but you're still implying it.
Hold on, let's not put words in his mouth.
I'm not even implying it.
So how could the cause of the pressure be different on atmospheric than if it's not gravity? or implied.
Okay, gas pressure. That basically hold on. Sorry. Gas pressure comes from the pressing of the container of the walls, basically molecules running into each other. Atmospheric pressure basically just comes from the weight.
Where do you get the
Gravity.
Wait. What
Wait.
is gas behavior? How do gases behave?
What do you mean? They fill the available space unless outside forces acting on them.
No, you said wait. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to get this picture in my mind of layers laying on top of each other when gas behavior is defined as moving freely and randomly at high speeds.
Yep, unless an outside force acts on them.
Oh, so gases don't move freely and randomly at high speeds. I need that citation that says
They don't
unless.
have infinite kinetic energy. And you know
Oh,
that.
goodness gracious, you're an idiot. I want a freaking citation that supports what you just said. Unless
you have
gases
to give me
move
some
freely
time.
and randomly at high speeds, unless there's a force holding them back. Please.
You have to give me some time. I have to
No
find it.
worries.
Yeah.
No,
right.
hold on.
I'll tell you what.
Hold
it'd
on,
be
QE. Hold on.
easier
No worries. Hold
sprouting
on.
broccoli
Hold
from
on.
your armpit.
Hold on. No worries. We can hold you to that. If you need time to find a citation for gas expands in all directions unless acted upon by a force. Yeah, you just take all the time you need, but we'll hold you to it.
All I'm going to find is basically the gas molecules have weight and they don't have infinite kinetic energy. That's all I
Infinite
really need.
kinetic. What the fuck is infinite kinetic energy? Do you
In
know?
other words, they don't move in the same direction.
Well,
without-
if gases
I mean,
aren't moving,
without
then they're
wasting
not a
energy.
freaking gas. You
Say that
clown.
again. Say that again.
I thought you
If
said
the
they move freely. I
molecules-
thought you said they move freely
God.
and randomly.
Rumpus by some other idiot. Oh, Dallas. Okay, thank you. Appreciate for identifying yourself. So, the definition of gas molecules being a gas is they move freely and randomly at high speeds. If they're not moving gases, then they're not a gas. You
I
dumb
don't think
shit.
anybody said they don't move.
You did.
You
No, I
said
didn't,
that.
you dumbass.
You said that.
I didn't say they don't move. I said they don't have
Oh
infinite
my
kinetic
God.
energy. That's a complete difference.
Kinetic
And
energy.
you should
Yeah,
know
that's
that. And you should
movement.
know that, QE.
Sorry,
Kinetic
don't act
energy is
dumb.
movement, you dumbass.
Yeah, what do you think
Yeah,
kinetic
and they don't
energy
have
is?
infinite kinetic energy.
What do you think
In other
kinetic
words,
energy
my
they're
is?
going to
God.
get pulled down by weight.
What does
Here
kinetic
he goes
mean?
with his
Hold on,
circuit.
hold on,
at
everyone
some
be quiet,
point,
hold on.
You're saying
Hold
that the
on.
gases don't move.
What does kinetic mean? Come, virus, what does kinetic mean?
Movement.
Right. So you're saying no kinetic energy. That would be no
No,
movement.
I didn't say
then.
no kinetic energy. I did not say no
And
kinetic
they don't
energy.
have infinite kinetic energy.
Yeah, in other words, they're not going to move the same speed the whole time. They're going to slow down.
Really?
That's what that means. That doesn't mean they stop moving.
Wouldn't
I
you
didn't say
need
no kinetic energy.
How do you have gas pressure then?
Hold on a second. Where are they slowing down at?
What do you mean where they slowing down at?
Where are they slow? You said they slowed down, so where are they slowing down at?
Wherever they at.
What?
They don't stop moving.
Sorry, I just got a different question then.
So
Are you a virus? Are you under the impression that as they disperse, they are decreasing in energy?
Oh, ask that one more time. I'm sorry, Nathan.
That's okay. So, are you of the impression that as they disperse, their energy is decreasing? Is that what you're on? Is that your idea of what's happening?
Yes.
Well, that's wrong. It's first law
But
of
what's Newton's first law?
It's a
What's
violation of
Newton's
the
first
first
law
law
of
of thermodynamics. Do you know what the first law
Which
of
is what?
thermodynamics is?
Which is what?
An object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by a force.
That's not thermodynamics. That's a
No,
law of
that's
motion.
wrong, Anthony. Sorry, a virus. Do you know what the first law of thermodynamics is?
You have to refresh me on that. That's why I'm asking you what it is.
Do we have to refresh you on the first law of thermodynamics? You're
I'm a
supposed to be a
mathematical
butcher.
man. I'm not a science person.
You're
Duh. I
supposed to
told
be
you
a
this
butcher.
plenty
Yeah,
of
then you
times.
shouldn't be in this discussion then, clown.
Then why'd you call me out?
Because you're in the room.
Okay, then I'm giving you an answer.
And you made
I'm
a
gonna let
claim.
you know. I'm gonna let you know if it's something I don't know. I'm man enough to
you
admit
don't
that.
know shit. You shouldn't even be in the room.
Let me ask 2 questions. Can I ask
I know
two
a lot
questions?
more than you do, QE.
I forgot more yesterday about science than you'll ever know, dumbass.
Guys, let
I
me ask
doubt
2
it,
questions, please.
Highly seriously doubt it.
You
Let me ask two
doubt it.
questions.
You don't think you
Akam.
can. I'll tell you what. Let me ask you a question. When you moved from the live stream, the live chat, to the after show, did you change?
I didn't move from the live. I was never in the live show.
Oh, when you move from the live stream to the after show, do you move?
Other way around.
Is that a change?
When you move from the
Clown.
after show to the live show, or vice versa.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't in the live show.
Moot.
Can I ask 2 questions, please?
Okay, hold on. Which room were you in before this one, Ocon Virus?
I stayed in here. I mean, once I got here, I just jumped in the after show.
Okay, but the other day when you were in the live show, and then we moved to the after show, you remember?
Okay, yeah, we'll say another day before, like yesterday. Okay, maybe yesterday, yeah.
Perfect.
What about it?
Just keep that in mind. Go ahead, QE.
Sorry, I wasn't paying any attention to him.
Same question. So how did you leave the live show room? Oh, I've forgotten the question. You have to...
voice move. Command.
How did you move from...
When you leave? Okay, hold on. He says when he changes his pants, right? He doesn't leave his pants. So this is a play on that. So when you move from live
take it
chat,
to the dirty clothes hamper.
so when you move from live chat, you retard, and go to the after show, do you move there? Does something change?
Yeah, just move server rooms. Let's move to the next chat. That's it.
Right, but
so you
can
left.
you leave? Could you leave that room and go into the other room, but not change
Yeah, I did.
rooms?
I just
but not change
Y'all made me
rooms.
leave the room. You made me leave the room.
So you
That's
did or
not-
didn't
that's not
change
the point.
rooms? Did you change rooms when you left the one room and went into the other? Was that a change of rooms
Can you
or not?
actually just get to the? Can we get to the point? This is circular reason right now. Can we get to the point?
What is you said you
Yes,
can't-
you said you don't leave your pants when you change them.
No, I take them to the dirty clothes hamper.
And that's what we're talking about, you moron.
So you go to the dirty clothes laundry in your bare legs, in your underwear?
No, in my pants. In other pants, I take off the pants that I had on before, the shorts I had on before. I take them off and take them to the dirty clothes hamper.
So you change your
I'm already
pants.
wearing the other pants when I come out the bathroom after my shower.
So you
Putting
change
on
your
other
pants.
is called changing your pants.
Duh.
You do realize
What a
that, right?
dipshit.
The hell?
Yeah. So
Y'all are
where's your
smarter than this. What the hell, man? I have
The
way
point
more
of
hope
that
than this, man. Come
conversation
on.
was could you change your reference frame and throw the old reference frame over your shoulder and go to the laundromat with that reference frame?
No, you can't. You
No.
don't take reference frames to the laundromat. What kind of dumbass question was that?
Yeah, when you leave
Well,
one,
that's
you
the
change.
point, that you made a faulty analogy with your pants.
No, that was
That's the
not
whole
the point. The point. How many times do I have to tell y'all what the point of that statement was? There was a difference between change and leave. Y'all are so focused on the pants that y'all ignore the fact that there's a difference between change and leave.
In regards
Quit
to reference
focusing on the
frames.
pants.
Yeah, but because it was your analogy when we were talking about reference frames and saying that if you
Yeah,
leave one
and the
reference
point
frame.
of the analogy was there's a difference between change and leave.
Okay, well, draw
Y'all
the
just so
connection.
focused on the pants.
Okay, well, just draw the connection with your analogy. So if we were saying that when you leave / change reference frame, you move from one to the other, and you were saying, no, there's a difference between change and move, or change and leave.
The
So
difference
how is that
between- yes,
analogous
there you
with
go,
your
change and
pants?
leave.
This is where almost you got away with this being obfuscated and distracted away from, but because it's been drawn out by you, I'm now getting you to make the analogy again so we can see how coherent the analogy is regards to leaving or changing reference frames. How does the analogy with your pants tie into that?
You could change reference frames and not leave a reference frame. a reference frame ain't nothing but a point of view. You can change your reference
how do
frame
you-
and still stay in my point of view. And I can still be with the old reference frame. And still in my point of view.
But how do you have a different point of view if you haven't left the first point of view?
I don't have a different point of view. I'm saying you could leave my reference frame that I'm in, be in another reference frame, and still be in my point of view.
That's two different people, two different points of view in two different reference frames.
Yeah,
So what
it's
you're
two
doing-
different points of view,
I hadn't
and
quite
you were
finished.
still in both.
I allowed you to speak, Virus. So you're juggling
My bad. Okay,
between.
go ahead.
He's doing
Go
it again. You're juggling between my reference frame, if I'm the projectile, and your reference frame as the observer. And when you say, well, no, you don't leave one reference frame when you move between one and the other because I don't leave my reference frame, well, then you're immediately changing the point of reference to you from me or from the projectile to you. Well, that's an incorrect analogy because either you're referring to the thing that's leaving the reference frame, moving from one to the other, a ball, a helicopter, whatever, or you and your point of view viewing it. Those are two different things.
Let's draw this out. Let's have reference frames. Okay, you are in a reference frame. We both share the same reference frame. We'll just say it like this. You're a part of my reference frame. We're both on a merry-go-round.
Okay.
Okay, so once you step off the merry-go-round, you've changed reference frames, but you are still in my point of view. You are still also within my reference frame. You just joined another reference frame.
So in conclusion,
He left yours.
So in conclusion, I have changed reference frame, and you have not changed reference frame. But changing reference frame in your example is indeed possible, and it would be moving from one reference frame to another, but without the bit where you then move across to you. I'm still talking.
I'm sorry.
So what's your problem? What's your problem? I'm not talking through you, am I? I'm letting you get to the end of your conclusion. I'm even shutting down the hangout line so you're not getting rumpused. But yet when I summarise your point and point out that you're taking the reference frame of the projectile, in your example it would be me stepping off the merry-go-round, and then changing it to your point of view to make your example make coherent sense. But in reality, unlike your example with your pants over your shoulder, me as the projectile in your example with the roundabout can indeed move from one reference frame to another and change reference frame. That only doesn't happen when you then move from projectile to observer, which is what you've done. But they're two different things. One is the observation of a projectile changing reference frames, or the other being your actual staying in the same position, not changing reference frames. Two very different points of view with two things happening, but the change of the reference frame is indeed possible by way of me stepping off a roundabout. I've changed my reference frame. Moved. Left
You also
one.
had to leave
Yeah,
the
left.
merry-go-round.
I've left the merry-go-round. Left that frame of reference.
But you didn't leave
I
my frame
I
of
come
reference.
virus.
You're still in my point of view.
Yeah, I've just said this. Yeah, now we're moving across to your point of view. All right. So why? When we're saying that the projectile, or me in your example, is moving reference frames, leaving one and entering another. Leaving reference frames is what's being done by the person that's stepping off the roundabout in your example. So you're then going, well, no, but from my point of view, well, we're not talking about from your point of view. That's something completely different, isn't it? So from your point of view,
it's not. 'Cause we're
a
talking
virus,
about
I'm still
you're mixing
talking.
it up.
I'm
You're
still
mixing it up.
talking. From your point of view,
Can you at
you
least
sit
get
on
it
the.
right?
I'm still talking, mate.
Can you at least
From-
get it right if you still talking?
Just need you to stop interrupting me. From your point of view, you can watch someone get off the roundabout and you haven't changed reference frames. That's correct. But then you can step off the reference frame and you leave that reference frame a virus, like the projectile you observed. But in this instance, it's you, because you keep wanting to make this about you and what you see. Well, now you are stepping off the roundabout. You've left one reference frame and entered another. You, the observer.
These guys never want to leave the non-inertial reference frame.
Yeah, I was just about to summarise that. The reason we're having this conversation is because when arguing about Coriolis effect, the purpose of the Coriolis effect argument is to automatically insert the presupposition that Earth is a non-inertial reference frame. And therefore, all observations will always take place from a spinning ball Earth. So long as it's convoluted enough so that it's always referenced back to the point of view of the observer on a non-inertial spinning ball Earth, then that is where the argument leads the person they are arguing with, in this case me, to always be on their vibe of begging the question that we're standing on a non-inertial spinning reference frame that is their presupposition of a ball Earth. Although that might sound convoluted, it's another instance where we had to beg the question and argue indefinitely about bloody Coriolis effect to finally figure out that what they are doing is constantly tying every observation to a frame of reference they claim is spinning, ergo begging the question of a spinning ball Earth. That's the purpose of a Coriolis argument. Fix everybody to the spinning ball Earth so that all arguments take place on a spinning ball Earth. Begging the question, circular reasoning.
What he's saying, Nathan, though, hold on one second. What he's saying is he's on a spinning reference frame. Let's say he's on a roundabout and he steps off the roundabout. Occam's virus is that from his perspective, he can still see the roundabout. That's his argument. Yeah, you clown. You can still see the roundabout spinning, but you're in a different reference frame. You're not spinning.
You can be part of more. You can be a part of more than one reference frame.
Or is it the same reference frame when you step off a roundabout onto the ground?
No, I've just joined a different reference frame.
Thank you.
But I didn't leave the previous one.
Yeah, you did. You
How
left
did
the
you not
spinning.
leave?
You
You
did
just
leave.
stepped off the merry-go-round. Are you kidding,
virus.
And I'm still a part of that reference frame.
No, you're not.
I
Are you
can
insane? You're saying you step off a roundabout. My God, how many times have you been to the fairground, stepped off a merry-go-round, and then gone, oh yeah, I'm still part of that reference frame, spinning around like crazy? That's absolutely preposterous. You've left the reference frame when you step off the roundabout, come virus. This is totally absurd.
I can
He's still saying he hasn't left the reference frame.
I can virus.
Do you understand about reference frame that you can't? There's only one reference frame at a time, basically.
You could be a part of more than one.
Can you hear me? I can virus. Can you hear me?
Are you going to try to reason with him?
Go, Brian, go.
Yeah.
Come back to reality.
I have a question for Arkham Virus. When you change lanes on the freeway, have you left the lane you were in previously?
Physical lanes and point of view is what you need to be worried about.
It's
Not
a yes or no
actual
question.
physical
See,
thing
point
like a
of
lane.
view. Point of view. It's his point of view. When you're on a roundabout and you step off the roundabout and you can look back at the spinning roundabout, but you're not on it. That doesn't answer the question, have you changed reference frames or not?
I've joined a different reference frame, but I didn't leave the other one.
Yeah, you did. So if you're saying that you didn't leave the spinning reference frame, then you'd be still spinning. But you're not. You've stepped off it. Clearly you've left it. You're not spinning anymore. You've left the spinning reference frame. Obviously.
And I'm still a part of anybody's point of view that is still on that reference frame.
Of anybody's point of
There's
view.
nobody there.
What the-
Okay, come virus. There's no one there. There's only you. You're the only one with any
Even
point
if
of view.
I'm saying if there's somebody
Come
there,
virus, I'm
still
still
a part of that
talking, mate.
reference frame. In
Come
other
virus,
words, I
I'm trying to
haven't
make an
left it.
example
That's
to
what
you,
I'm
but you're
saying.
just rumpusing me, mate. I know you're triggered. Yeah, there's no one
I'm
there.
not even triggered.
Okay, yeah,
I
just
don't
try and
even
listen
sound
to what I'm saying rather than going, no, triggered, mumble. Yeah, you're the only
not even
person. He's doing
mumbling.
it again. So you're going to be the only person in this example. You're the only person with a point of view. You step off.
You was also
You're still
in there.
talking through me, asshole.
You left first.
What's your problem?
You left first.
What's your problem? Why can't you let me speak?
Because you're getting it wrong.
You're not letting me speak, virus. So you're the
Okay,
only
then
person
get it.
with
Okay, I'm
every
sorry.
second
I'm
word I
sorry.
speak,
I'm
he talks
apologizing.
through me.
Just get it wrong. I'm sorry.
You're going to shut up? In your example, you're going to be the only person there, the only person with any point of view to take any reference from is going to be your eyeballs. Okay? There's not going to be a second person watching. No voyeurism. In case you can't remember the argument with Zanuck, I insisted. Nobody's going to be watching my tender moment with Miley Cyrus on the pendulum. This is that moment. You're the only one there. So when you step off the roundabout, you are leaving the spinning reference frame of the roundabout. Aren't you a cum virus?
No.
No.
Sorry,
You
cum
just
virus.
said you were.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You just
Yeah,
said
y'all
that
just
you
gonna get it.
were.
Y'all just gonna get it wrong. Then y'all can just get it wrong. I don't care. That wasn't the example.
Oh my
You
God.
said when you
Sorry, what
step
do you mean?
off, you're in a
Wasn't the
different-
example? What he means is I didn't want to hear the example, so I talked through it about 6 times. And then I've just hand-waved it by saying no, and then said that's not the example. Yeah, it's the example that I had to take 6 attempts with you talking through me to make. So I'm going to make it again, cum virus. There's nobody watching. There's only you on a roundabout. You're the only one who's observing anything. You step off the spinning roundabout. You're no longer spinning. You're no longer on a spinning reference frame. You've left it. You're not spinning anymore. But you're going to say you're still part of the spinning reference frame. That's wrong. This makes you a moron if you keep asserting that you're still on a spinning reference frame when you step off it. It's a... Why is he... What, you're going to pretend that I haven't made this devastating point because you've talked? Oi, asshole. You're going to pretend I haven't made this point because you've talked through the end of it? Is that what you're going to do again and say it's not the point? I'll try again. You're the only person with a point of view and you're spinning on a roundabout. At the point that you step off the spinning roundabout, you aren't on the spinning reference frame anymore. You've left it.
Can I ask a question now?
The one reference.
I'm not waiting for a question. I'm waiting for a... Yeah,
No,
I
I need to
appreciate how
clarify something.
fundamentally moronic stating that I'm still on a spinning reference frame when I've stepped off it is. You're moronic by saying no to that assertion. Yes, you've left the spinning reference frame when you step off the spinning reference frame of cum virus. I don't want you asking me any questions. I need you to say, yeah, saying no to that was moronic.
No, just because that's your opinion. You're welcome to have it.
It's not an opinion. It's a fact. If you step off a roundabout, you're not spinning anymore.
Is the merry-go-round still spinning?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're not. You've left that reference frame.
Is the
You're not
merry-go-round
spinning,
still spinning?
Virus.
Yeah, but you're looking at what's happening, and
The merry-go-round
you.
still spinning.
He's just doing it every time I respond to him. Yeah, I appreciate that I'm making it very
Merry-go-round still
simple. I'm doing it. You're doing it again, cum virus. Every time I talk, you start talking through me. So you're the only one referencing anything. No one's watching. I've already made that explicitly clear. So you're the only one with a reference to make. You're looking at the world spinning around you. That is your frame of reference. Until you step off. Then the world isn't spinning. He's doing it again. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. Why'd you keep interrupting me? You're just wrong.
My God, is he retarded?
Yeah, he is retarded. You're stupid, cum virus, if you think when you step off a reference frame that's spinning, you're still part of it. You're not. You're wrong. And I want you to concede, not ask me a question. Say, yeah, you're right. That was very stupid to make that assertion. It was incorrect. You can leave a reference frame. You just have to step off a roundabout as you're detailing over and over again as I interrupt you. To declare that that's wrong when it isn't wrong. You can leave a reference frame. Even though you think you can carry your pants around with you, and that's analogous to stepping off a roundabout and still being spinning, which you're not. You're just wrong. Your analogy's crap. Carrying your pants doesn't mean that stepping off a roundabout means you're still spinning. That's wrong at a fundamental level, you stupid idiot. How long's this going to
Dumb
take?
for asserting that. Just stop showing your dumbness. Stop. Just
How long's it going to take for you to realise how big a fucktard you are? When you step off a roundabout, you leave a spinning reference frame. The fact that you keep arguing this is a demonstration of how dumb you are. I don't declare that it's my dumbness. I'm concisely and succinctly demonstrating how stupid you are when you say that because you can carry your pants around with you, when you change your pants, you don't leave them because you can carry them. That's totally and utterly absurd if you're trying to make an analogy about stepping off a roundabout and still being spinning, which you're not. That's wrong. You're dumb.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, you did, you dumb shit. You said that you're still part of the spinning reference frame when you step off a roundabout, and you're wrong.
Nathan, how dumb can you be?
I'm not dumb, you are. You're saying that when you step off a spinning roundabout, you're still part of a spinning reference frame. That's incorrect. You've made that assertion because when you change your pants, you can carry them around with you. Ergo, you're not leaving those pants, and you're not leaving the reference frame. That you step off and stop spinning when you do so, i.e. leave the spinning reference frame. You're a bonehead idiot. You're getting more and more frustrating with every second that you're here because you're ignoring me. Just calling me dumb. An ad hominem, a logical fallacy. You're not addressing my rebuttal, you're just calling me dumb.
Yeah, and not understanding reference frame. Look, buddy, you can say whatever you want. You can only be in one reference frame at a time. It's what
Don't lie to
reference
me,
frames
Arwen.
are about. Whatever you're thinking about reference frame, it's not working.
Don't lie to
If you
me, Arwen.
presume that you can
Don't
be
lie
in
to me,
more than
Arwen.
one reference frame at the same time, you're just wrong.
Don't
It's
you
not
lie?
ref-
Don't lie to me, Arwen. That's not true. Don't lie to me, Arwen.
What? He's not lying to you. You're
Hey,
just
just
stupid.
how many reference frames you can be at the same time? How many?
One.
Is there a limit?
Infinite.
How many?
No.
3, 10 million? How many?
No, no limit. No limit.
No limit. All right.
Can I suggest
So,
something?
Virus. Well, hang on, Virus. What you're saying.
Seize him.
And I'll use, hang on, Virus. So if you and me are on the spinning roundabout and you step off and are no longer spinning and you turn around and look at me spinning on the roundabout still, because you can view me spinning, you think you're on the same reference plane because you see me on it?
No,
Exactly
I'm
what he's
within
saying.
your reference frame. I'm a part of your reference frame. I might not be a part of the inertial or uninertial part, but I'm
The
still a part of your
uninertial.
reference frame.
What is
It doesn't mean
uninertial?
non-inertial.
Okay.
But
can't
aren't
even
you
use
seeing,
language
aren't you
properly.
seeing
let's just
me
round
in a
this out.
different
Let's just-
reference frame?
It's really just because y'all frustrated
Last
me. and I'm tired of
question.
this,
Last
and I'm
question,
done.
Akumbaris.
Yeah,
We'll
knucklehead.
get
Can I
off his
suggest
back.
something?
I want to get. I just want to get off Akumbaris' back. One final question, Akumbaris. Which reference frame is the? I won't use your words. Non-inertial. You called it uninertial, but that doesn't matter. That's not important. Which reference frame is the non-inertial reference frame, and which is the reference frame that's inertial in your example with a roundabout?
Are you asking me what's an inertial?
Yeah, which one is the inertial
Hold on,
reference
what?
frame in your roundabout example? Which one's inertial? Which one's non-inertial?
So
Let him. Shh, everyone be quiet. Go ahead, Akumbaris.
I'm sorry. Okay. So the non-inertial frame would be the one that's accelerating, with the one that's not accelerating.
Just tell us which one it is.
So an
got a
inertial reference
roundabout.
frame is the one that's not accelerating, right?
Which
is the-
one?
Let's make it more easy
I'm
for you.
asking you an honest question.
I'm asking you
You're
a question,
asking us a
Akumbaris.
question when we ask you a
Just calm down. Just let
Just
me try and
because-
I'll try and make it more simple.
It's not-
Is the roundabout the inertial reference frame or the non-inertial reference frame?
One that's not moving at a constant acceleration.
I'll repeat my question.
Answer the-
Everyone be quiet. I'll repeat my question.
Inertial
Is the
frame
roundabout...
is the one that's moving at a constant velocity, right?
Yeah, you're not answering me.
And the non-inertial frame is the one
Look,
that's
I've asked a simple
that's going through
question.
acceleration. Am I
Oh,
saying
he's
this?
just not going to shut up. I just need a straight answer.
Am I saying?
I just need
I'm
a
trying
straight...
to understand if I'm saying this right before I get them. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting them confused.
Okay.
The inertial reference frame is the frame that's moving at the constant velocity, right? The one that's not, I guess, going through acceleration. It's not moving faster or moving slower, right?
So the question is, the roundabout is the non-inertial or inertial reference frame. Which is the roundabout? Inertial or non-inertial? That's the question. You tell me.
And I'm trying to get this right. Let me make sure I'm getting it confused. The
You just need to
inertial
say-
reference frame is the frame that's moving at a constant velocity. It's
Don't
not
describe.
accelerating,
You're doing a
right?
Brenda, a virus. You're describing what an inertial or non-inertial reference frame is.
I'm
and
trying to see if I'm right.
Try to stop
I'm asking a
interrupting me
question.
while I. Please don't talk through every
Am I
time I
right?
speak. Please. Please. All you need to say
Am I
is either the roundabout's the inertial reference frame or the roundabout's the non-inertial reference frame. That's one. You've only got two answers, and I want one of them.
Am
Which-
I getting inertial reference frame right?
That's why we're asking. That's why we're asking.
Can you not answer a simple question?
I'm
He
asking
can't
you
do
a
it,
simple
Nathan, because
question.
he just looked it up on Google,
It's
right?
just-
But he can't apply it to anything in real life, so he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I have been asking you the same question since
You're not asking me anything, dipshit. I'm asking you over and over again whether or not the roundabout is the inertial or non-inertial reference frame. I just need you to answer that question.
If you don't want to help me out and make sure I'm not getting it confused, then what's the point of asking me? I'm asking an honest question.
You
Yeah, we
are
know
not-
you're-
answer your
just
question.
Come, virus.
You only have two answers.
Yeah.
I will
We're not
answer
trying to.
your question.
Come,
once you
virus.
tell me, am I
Try
getting
and let me
confused or not?
speak. Come, virus. We're not trying to educate you when you're arguing a different point with us and saying we're wrong. Come, virus. I'm still talking. I'm still talking. Come, virus. You're really beginning to
I
piss
didn't
me
choose
off.
to argue about
Can you stop interrupting me every time I talk, please? Please. Please. So we're not trying to educate you. We're trying to establish whether or not you understand what you're talking about by getting you to define part of your example that you gave us from a position of presumably understanding what reference frames are. So don't ask us to educate you. We're highlighting that you haven't got the slightest clue which reference frame the roundabout is, and this endless diatribe with you continually interrupting me is a demonstration that you don't know the answer. So I'm going to ask it one final time. Undoubtedly you'll interrupt before I get to the end. Which is the inertial reference frame? Or, to keep it simple for you, is the roundabout in your example the inertial or the non-inertial reference frame? Which one is it? Go.
That I need to know one thing.
For what?
Hold on.
Because I need to know if the roundabout is moving at a constant velocity or is it accelerating.
No problem. I'm going to assert that the roundabout is motorized, it's at the fairground, and they've got it at a constant speed. There you go. Is the roundabout the inertial reference frame or the non-inertial reference frame?
It will be the inertial reference frame.
Wrong! What a complete and utter retard. So, you don't understand anything about Coriolis effect or reference frames. You don't know which is the non-inertial and inertial reference frame. You've just boldly asserted that the roundabout's the inertial reference frame. Virus, you're wrong.
If it's not moving any faster or any slower, you said it's moving at a constant pace, that would make it inertial.
Excuse me. I'll say it again. You're wrong. That was the incorrect answer. There was only two. You had a 50-50 chance if you guessed, and you still got it wrong. You are wrong. When you assert that the roundabout is the inertial reference frame, you're wrong. So, admirably demonstrating that you haven't got the slightest clue what you're talking about here, virus. Why are you having this argument with us? You don't know what you're talking about, clearly.
So why do y'all
Don't
always
ask
pick
me
this
something.
argument with me if
Don't
I
ask me
already told
anything.
you I'm not a scientific
Don't ask me a
person, I don't really
question,
care about
you
stuff like
stupid
this. You
buffoon.
decided to pick this
Why are
fight
you
with me for what
answering?
reason?
Why are
Buddy,
you
you called
asking
me
me
a
a
liar,
question?
okay?
Why are you asking me a question? You complete buffoon. Your answer.
You know I don't really understand.
You don't understand. You're a retard. Your answer was incorrect.
So if I'm a retard, why do you just like picking on retards then?
Why are you
If
even
I
having
told
this
you
argument?
previously that I don't do scientific stuff, that I'm a mathematical person.
No, you're not a mathematical person. You don't understand reference frames.
Liar.
You are a moron. And Chocolate's just asked you why you're even here.
I
Why are you even here?
because I want to debate. I'm here to learn. That is
Learn? You've just asserted that you can declare that you don't move or leave reference frames with an analogy of carrying your pants over your shoulder when you change your pants. Now, that was your claim. Now you're saying you're here to learn. No, we've had to have you interrupting me continually with me over and over again asking you politely, please don't interrupt me while I point out where you're wrong. You're not here to learn. You're here making incorrect assertions and arguing with us about your total nonsense that you don't even understand. That's what you're doing. You're not here to learn. You're here to spout nonsense because you're a moron.
I'm here to learn.
No, you're not here to learn. If you were here to learn, you wouldn't interrupt every single word I said. But you do interrupt every single word I say when I'm trying to educate your dumbass. Because you're not here to learn. You're here to. You're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. You're interrupting me while I point out your ignorance. Why you're in this position with me demeaning you based on your total ignorance of this subject. When asked whether a roundabout is a non-inertial or inertial reference frame, you declared, after clarifying with us what the situation was in terms of its velocity, that it's the inertial reference frame. So, if you're here to learn, why are you making declarations? That's not learning.
I tried to ask you a simple question.
No, you made a declaration. You declared that it was the inertial reference frame. That was your declaration, moron. That's not learning.
Why are you interrupting me, Nathan? Why are you
because
interrupting me?
I'm not stupid. I deserve mic time on my own bloody show, Shock Horror. I know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't be so foolish as to chew up my airtime declaring that a roundabout's an inertial reference frame and later claiming I'm here to learn after boldly making bullshit claims, which is what you're doing.
And calling me a liar when I tried to explain
And calling me dumb. Excuse me, earlier you called me dumb.
Nathan.
Excuse me, now you're calling me a hypocrite.
Don't be a dumbass hypocrite.
Yeah, you're doing it now. You called me dumb. So, who is the dumb one?
I said don't be a dumbass
I'm asking you a new
hypocrite. That's not
question,
calling you dumb.
Virus. Who is the dumb one?
Smart people
The
do
one
dumb shit.
that's declaring that an inertial reference frame is the roundabout? Or me, who understands that that would be the non-inertial spinning reference frame? Who's dumb? You or me? You're going to apologise? I thought you were here to learn. You're calling your teacher dumb after making the stupid declaration that a roundabout's an inertial reference frame. But you're calling the people what? You're here to learn from someone you're calling dumb? No, you're dumb. Very dumb.
You don't want me to learn.
I do. You interrupt me while I point out that a non-inertial reference frame would be the roundabout. You interrupt me indefinitely to make a bullshit assertion that no, that's the inertial reference frame, after getting clarity on the subject.
Plenty of times to see if I was getting it confused or not.
Yeah, you are confused. You're a fuckwit. You're the one making declarations that we're wrong and you don't leave reference frames. And you've given us an analogy about carrying your pants along with you. So, what, you're here to learn when you're telling us that you don't leave reference frames? That's you here to learn, is it?
All right then, Nathan. Let's debate. I challenge you to an actual debate with a moderator. What's
So
up?
he seems he's turned into Brenda. An actual debate with a moderator. Sorry, a moment ago you were here to learn. No, you're here to debate, but you're just wrong and stupid and make declarations like the roundabout's an inertial reference frame while you're arguing us that you're correct to make an analogy, another assertion, that you don't leave reference frames, as made in your analogy when you carry your pants. You are not here to learn. You're here to debate badly and lose, and then claim that you're here to learn when you get pummeled.
I'm not here to debate.
You've just said, I want to debate you with a moderator. You have been debating me. I intervened when we had this analogy being laughed at about your pants being carried around, ergo you don't leave reference frames. Now we've got you interrupting me on tape for the last 20 fucking minutes with you not listening to me trying to educate your dumbass in how reference frames work. But now you want to debate me with a moderator? What, so you can get away with shouting me down with your stupid shit about roundabouts being inertial frames of reference, like your fucking pants that you're carrying around, you stupid shithead? Are you going to call me dumb, motherfucker? You're the dumbo, you stupid cunt. Oi! A cum virus, you're a dumb cunt. You hear me, dumb cunt? How dare you call me dumb? You are a dumb motherfucker. Not here to learn, you're a dumb motherfucker.
Virus, you played yourself with this one, brother.
How dare you call me dumb?
If you were here to learn, you would have asked the question from the beginning instead of trying to debate from the beginning. But
Yeah,
you weren't
you
here to
debated
learn.
me
You were
and
here
you
to
lost.
debate.
And your response to losing was to call me dumb. You're demonstratively stupid. All you can do is talk over me.
That's it.
All you can do is talk over me like you're doing now. You were demonstratively dumb when you made an incorrect declaration about what the reference frame was. But you've been levelling the assertion that the person you claim you're here to learn from, that he's dumb. So if you're here to learn from me, why are you calling me dumb when you get it wrong and talking through me constantly? You've got it wrong. You don't want to learn why you're wrong. You want to talk down to me and call me dumb.
Okay, for me telling you not to be dumb is not calling you dumb.
Yeah, I haven't been dumb. There's nothing I've said here that's incorrect. Literally nothing I've said has demonstrated stupidity on my part. You, on the other hand, have demonstrated clear stupidity. So who do you think you
I
are?
honestly think that you can leave reference frame.
No, you can't. Now, are you going to shut up while I try and educate your dumb ass? Or not?
No, I won't, because I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're saying contrary statements. You're saying you're here to learn, but you're not. You're here to talk through me and not listen to a word I say. So which is it? Here to learn, or you don't want to listen to anything?
He doesn't want to listen to it, Nathan, so I helped him out.
Fine. With that, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Now, obviously, you're watching this on Friday evening. Tomorrow, at about round about the same sort of time-ish, so 7 PM UK time, 1 PM Central Standard Time, will be all new Ballbusters, so be here or be Sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. The whole crew will be there, so be here or be Sphere. Another massive thank you to all of today's Discord and G Plus panels for making this after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!